All right, guys, we are recording. It is Tuesday, June 16th, and this is our Newbie Power 30 that we've been doing. I'm super excited to have Lesley with us tonight. She is a diamond leader on our team. And tonight we are going to be talking about, I'm so excited about this actually. We're going to be talking about like positive mindset, self-development, and the importance of that even as a newbie. And then we're also going to be talking about going for no's. So I actually, if you guys, those of you guys that are on, I want you in the chat group to share how long you've been with the business. So most of you are going to be fairly new. So I just want to know, did you join yesterday? Did you join today? Did you join a month ago, 2 months ago? Share in the chat how long you've been in the business, just so we kind of get an idea and get to know you guys a little bit. And while you guys are doing that, just so you guys know, I've been in the business for 3 years. Lesley, how long have you been in?
4 years.
4 years. Okay, awesome. So, and then the rest of you, besides Shannon, I see Shannon's been in 4.5 years. She's another. She did this with us last week. But the rest of you guys are probably fairly new. I'm guessing anywhere from a couple days to maybe a couple months. Okay. So, Lesley is going to talk with us and with me too, a little bit about self-development and having the right mindset for your business. I just know for myself, and I was not always good at this, especially in the beginning of my business. To be honest with you, I didn't understand the importance of it, but it is so important to do things from a place of excitement. Because excitement is contagious. And I've learned myself that I can't be excited if I don't work on self-development. So Lesley, can you maybe share a short summary of your story, but also kind of maybe go into why you think self-development is so important, and especially as a new distributor as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got started when we were just in a situation where my daughter required quite a bit of medical needs. She had doctor's appointments and lots of different things going on, and we just were in a situation where we couldn't afford what it is that she needed. The other reason why I got started though is because I just retired from teaching 26 years, and I was at a point where I knew I needed to do something different because I didn't want to teach the rest of my life, and education has become something different than what it is or what it was when I got started. So I wasn't looking for this. It just I was a customer for 2 years, and Danielle just said, have you ever thought about doing this? And I was like, no, all I know is teaching. What would I do with this? So when I came into it, I was completely and totally no idea what was going on. I didn't know anything about business. I didn't know anything about what it meant to be in business for yourself. I knew nothing, absolutely not. All I knew was Danielle was over there posting and doing really well. And I really like these products. That's why, I basically got started. And the growth and development I have experienced since saying yes to this opportunity has been huge and significant. Not only for my life, but also for my daughter, who is now starting her own business. And it's been awesome. It's been absolutely positively awesome. So I'm not going to lie though. It wasn't until 3 years into the business that I really started to look at self-development, and I started to look at who I was as an individual, because I struggled big time. Again, I knew nothing about business. I didn't know anything about the business mindset or a positive mindset, but I knew that it was important, and I knew that growing and developing was going to be important. And I think as people, we should always be lifelong learners. So I knew I wanted to be successful in this business, but I didn't start and boom, I was successful. You keep reading about, people's experiences where they go, diamond in 2 months or diamond in a month. And I'm like, how does that happen? What are you talking about? That wasn't me. But I learned that so much of my success now has been a result of focusing on my strengths and my weaknesses and finding ways to overcome them in order to be successful and good at what we do. So that was kind of what motivated my exploration. I dove headfirst into self-development, and it is now something that I will continue to do. And everyone keeps telling you, you got to make sure you do your self-development. You got to make sure you do your self-development. I had no idea what that looked like. Everyone just kept telling me I needed to do it. So I started thinking, all right, well, what is self-development? So me being a teacher, I just started researching, and I found some people that I liked, and now I just can't get enough of it. So I think self-development is incredibly important, especially to a newbie, because if you're in a situation where you don't come from sales, because let's face it, that's what we do, we're in sales, there is an absolute mindset that goes along with this. And if you're not there, you can struggle, and you can struggle for a very long time. And it would be my goal and my hope to provide at least a little inspiration to move you along. I don't want to say faster or quicker, because I think we all go at our own pace. But to know that absolutely anyone can do this, but it doesn't happen until you are, for me, truly mentally prepared for everything that comes along with it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So,
and I think too, I know you said you really didn't dive into it too much until like, what did you say, almost 3 years into the business?
Almost 3 years, yeah.
It's like, can you imagine if you had done that from day one? And
That's exactly.
Yeah. And so that is why I think it's so important. Like, and why it's kind of what made me realize this was a topic that I wanted to talk about tonight. Was I realized, look, because I was trying to look back to when I was a newbie, as I'm trying to help my newbies. And I was like, what was I not doing? What was I missing? What did I need to do more of? And this was like, I really didn't get good into self-development until probably about maybe at least a year into my business, maybe even closer to 2. And now, like, there's not a day goes by that I don't do it. It's like so important. And also I think it's important to know that, like, the definition of self-development is not necessarily that you have to be reading a book, like reading a self-development book. I think that's what scared me away from it too, is I don't really, which is actually surprising because I am a teacher. I taught for 6 years before this business. I think so many people did, but I don't really like to read that much. And so I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. But you guys, it can be listening to podcasts. It can be listening to worship music. It can be listening to a book on tape. There's so many different ways. It can be, honestly, it can be having me time and going for exercising and going for a walk. Sometimes that's self-development too. So,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So okay, so I guess once you started your self-development, what is it that you do every day?
Well, I'm like you. I do something every day. And I'm glad that you said it doesn't have to be a book, because it doesn't have to be a book. I do just as much listening to podcasts and watching 10-minute clips on YouTube than anything else. So, like, for example, when you were playing the recording on the Power Hours, loved it, because even though I'm working, I'm still getting these little nuggets, and they're making me think and making me process information, which for me is so important, because I think self-reflection has to occur if you're going to improve. And we don't do that unless we're encouraged to do some sort of, self-reflection. So it's really easy to, we're told what it is to do, especially as a new person: do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. But if you're stuck and you're going, why am I doing this? I think you owe it to yourself to find out, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? The other thing that was incredibly important to me was finding my strengths. So I am not Danielle and I'm not Angela either. Like, Angela and Danielle are like supreme reds, like hail to the reds. That is not me in any way, shape, or form. So one of the first things I did definitely was the color personality, because I needed to know what my strengths were. And then I needed to embrace my strengths. And I did not embrace them at first. I was like, no, I have to be like that. Wait, that's the only way you can do this. And it's not. So once I figured that out, it really made a huge difference. And I felt more comfortable in what it was that I was doing.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I love it. Sorry, I just had to take a note on something you said. I put it at the bottom of my notes because I don't want to forget. Okay, perfect. Yeah, and those of you guys that have been on our Power Hours, I played this. She was talking about the strangest secret that I actually got from Shannon last week on her Newbie Power 30 that she did with me. And in that, like, and I think Shannon was telling me too, how some people did a challenge of listening to it every day for 30 days. And so if you guys get on our power hours this week, we are going to be listening to it every single day during the power hours. And honestly, that alone is self-development. And for me, like, especially if I have a busy day, like if I just play it while I'm doing something else, I mean, play it while you're doing the dishes, play it while you're driving to pick up your kids, like figure out a way to get it into your life. And anytime I'm struggling in the business or I'm having a rough day, at bare minimum, I do my self-development. I actually put that first because I can't do my business well if I can't be well myself, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it is the first thing I do every day. Every day, it's the first thing.
Yeah. And that is something I need to get better about, is doing it first thing right away. Sometimes I don't do it first thing in the morning. But figure out what works for you guys. And if it's first thing in the morning, do it first thing in the morning. If it's when your kids go to bed at night, do it when your kids go to bed at night. Okay, so one of the other things that we are going to talk about kind of throughout this, and we are going to continue to talk about positive mindset and self-development, but we're also going to talk about going for the no's. Okay, you guys, I just want to remind you guys that every no gets you that much closer to a yes. And honestly, no's are, in my opinion, are not really no's. Like if somebody says not right now, or I don't have the money, or I don't think I want to do that right now, unless they tell me no, don't ever talk to me again, it's not a no. It's it's a seed planted, to be honest with you. And especially if they say no, not right now, or no, I don't have the money right now. So I want to challenge you guys to go for 10 no's, so try to go for 10 no's a day. And no response does not count as a no, by the way. And not right now doesn't count. Like it literally needs to be a straight up no. That's the only thing that counts. So honestly, when I do this challenge myself, sometimes it takes me over 100 messages to get 10 no's. So think about that for a second. Even if I don't get one yes, at least not right away, out of those 100 messages that I sent to get 10 no's, I just planted 100 seeds. So I just think like it's so important to continuously be planting those seeds. Because honestly, like when I'm messaging, and when I'm messaging and planting these seeds and trying to get these no's, these people could come around and turn around and sign as a distributor or a customer in 6 months. And that's fine. Like right now I might be like, darn it, I need them now. But you know what? I need a customer in 6 months too. And I need a distributor in 6 months too. So Lesley, what do you think? Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think that's what's so, it can really be defeating if you think in terms of, I have to have a yes, I have to have a yes, I have to have a yes, and I have to have it right now and today. Like there are some instances where that is true, especially if, it's the end of the month, you're pushing for volume, you're pushing for promotion, whatever it is. That is absolutely true. However, that for me, that volume doesn't happen. Those pushes don't happen, and they're not successful unless you've already done all the other stuff in the first place. Unless you've already received all those other no's, that successful push at the end doesn't occur. So I have this like posted, I feel like everywhere, and I share it with anyone who starts this business. 80% of sales are made on the 5th through the 12th contact. That's 5 times somebody's going to say no to you, or even up to 12 times before they actually say yes. And if you think about it, and we've said this, a lot too, people purchase from people. People don't purchase product. They purchase from people that they trust, because they know the product or whatever. So it's hard because the other part of that is 10% will only make 3 contacts. Well, that's not nearly enough. If you keep 5 in mind, like I have to hear them say no 5 times, or I have to follow up with them 5 times, I think that makes a huge, huge difference. And the other thing for me, no was never, well, I don't know. Coming from teaching, it's kind of like you're always evaluated, and you always had to be perfect. And if you're not perfect, it was always like self-development, go, improve, test scores, so on and so forth. So failure was never an option. So a lot of times people will hear no and they'll think of it as a failure. I don't see no as a failure. I see it as, like you said, it's a not right now. It's a not just yet. It's a not a good time. And I think in terms of, do you go out and when you purchase purchase a car, do you, not like saying like purchasing products, like purchasing, but when you purchase anything, do you buy the first thing that you do or that you see, or do you do some research? Do you find out some information about it? Do you, support the store that you want to support? You know what I mean? So I always think in terms, I'm a consumer too. I'm a consumer. How do I feel about it? I don't say yes right away. So I know for me is not a bad thing.
Yep, exactly. Well, and it's like, you think about, to be honest with you, and not to say that there's no distributors that sign up right away that aren't amazing, because there's a lot of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I will say a good amount of my distributors that join my team that really do well, thought about it for a little bit first, or were a customer first, or it wasn't like an immediate, they saw a host a post about the business, commented, I wrote to them, and they signed up in 10 minutes.
Right.
There was something, whether it was they were a customer turned distributor, or they thought about it for a couple hours or a couple days or something, you know what I mean? So, so yeah, that's such a good point. And it's kind of like, it's the concept of like reaping and sowing, I think too. So, I know we keep talking about planting these seeds, but it's a numbers game, you guys. Keep planting those seeds and they're gonna grow. I promise you. Okay. Let's see. And so those of you guys that just joined a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago are still working for your first 6 customers, like this is so important. Keep planting those seeds. You guys we still have 60 days to get our customers, right? For our shopping spree. So if you are planting seeds from day one, I promise you guys, you're going to get those 6 customers. And don't compare yourself. I know some people get them in a couple days and some people get them in 60 days, and that is okay. But if you keep planting those seeds every single day, even at the end of those 60 days, then you have so many people to follow up with and even share, hey, I'm this close to my goal, I'm just following up, or whatever it is. So super important. Okay. I'm actually going to give you guys like a short. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add real quick. Oh my gosh, no, I just forgot it. What was it? What did you just say?
Customers, planting seeds, following up.
Yeah. For me, no is, because you do want those 6 customers, no is an objection. No is, not right now, plant the seeds, so on and so forth. But there's an answer to their objection. And for me, whenever somebody says no, there's something that's holding them back at that particular point in time. So I kind of like find it as, okay, so what is it that's holding you back? Is it your financial situation? Is it you're not really sure about the product? You're afraid to try this product, that product. So I think a lot of conversation has to occur as well. So I always think in terms of, in regards to planting the seeds, also learning what it is that their goal is. So when you can find the goal, you can help them overcome the objection and move towards the sale. Does that make sense?
Yep. And it shows how much you care too, like build relationships with your potentials and with your customers. So when you're trying to figure out what their goal is and truly asking lots of questions about trying to find the right product for them, or like Lesley was saying, finding out what's holding them back, even if they don't sign right away, when they sign in a couple weeks or a couple months, they're going to sign with you because they know you cared. Like I just had a customer the other day that said that she had been talking to somebody else like 2 or 3 months ago. And then she said they stopped answering her or something. I don't know. I don't need to go into the whole thing, but she basically said like, you are asking me so many questions. You seem like you care. Like I want to sign with you. So it's so much about building that relationship.
Exactly.
Okay. So I do want to give you guys a task in a few minutes that kind of goes with going for the no's. I don't know that we'll spend a ton of time working on it on this Power 30 because I really want to keep this to the 30 minutes, but I will get the scripts in there for you guys. So Lesley, while I paste those in there, I just wanted to ask, what was it like when you first started and getting no's from a lot of people, or maybe even people that you thought would definitely support you?
I'm not going to lie, it was devastating because I took it personally. And I think that's difficult to do. I'm a yellow personality. So for me, it's always like, I just want to hug people all the time. So when I was just getting started, I was like, why doesn't, this sounds pathetic, but it's like, why doesn't anyone love me? It has nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me. So it was hard, but I think having the opportunity to always ask questions, always find ways to overcome whatever it is that I was struggling with, which is why I think The power hours are important. And it's not to say you have to do the power hours when the power hours are happening, but as long as you continue to work your business and learn and grow, I think that's huge. So as anyone starting out, for me, the reason why I kept going is because I knew that there was success at the end. I know that there's success in this company. This company doesn't, exist for as long as it does. And it's not, the company that it is because it's not successful. So I had to keep that goal in mind, definitely. But I'm never be afraid to ask questions. Ever be afraid to ask questions. And then always continue to, for me, it's always about learning. Be a lifelong learner, even though you're still learning, the process. I mean, we have, 6 customers, 3 DTs. That's our plan. That's our steps to success. But how you get there is up to you. Does that make sense?
100%. And that's the thing is I think, that's why I think these two topics kind of go hand in hand with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Why I wanted to talk about them together is it's just so important to have that positive mindset.
Yes.
And so, okay, let me see here. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So I put in the messages in the chat box. I want you guys to message 10 people right now or right when we get off of this Power 30. And I gave you an example of what you can do. We actually did this on the Power Hour, I think yesterday too. But it's just, hey love, and change this wording to sound like you guys. Like this is me and how I talk to people. If you wouldn't say, hey love, don't say, hey love, like figure out what you would say, but it gives you a starting point. So, hope I'm not bothering you, but I'm looking for some new product testers for this month and wondering if you would be interested. You'd get a huge discount for helping me out. And it's very simple to do. Do you want some more information? And then I also gave you a follow-up script once they say yes that kind of summarizes some of the options that they have. So as soon as we get off of this, I challenge you to send out at least 10. But really, I said 10 right now because originally I was thinking we would take a couple minutes and do this during the Power 30, but I'm not going to do that. So really, just keep doing it because I want you to go for 10 no's.
Mm-hmm.
And see how long it takes you. I'm not going to say go for 10 no's tonight necessarily. Decide what you can handle, but I want to see how long it takes you to get 10 no's. Because to be honest with you, it might take some of you a few days to get 10
Mm-hmm.
no's. Even with sending out, sometimes I can send out 50 messages a day, 100 messages a day, sometimes even more, and I still don't get 10 no's. So I think that's kind of like a fun little challenge. It's actually kind of part of your homework assignment. Okay. Let's see. I'm sorry. I have notes because my brain is all over the place. So I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. And Lesley, if you think I'm forgetting anything, feel free to hop in. Okay. Oh, and then I think I kind of already talked about this a little bit. And I know Lesley talked on it too, but I just want to reiterate it. Don't be afraid to get that no either. I do not mind getting a no. I mean, sometimes it can be discouraging. I get it, especially when you really are I need one more customer to get this $100 this week or whatever it is. But for me, I normally immediately just start thinking, okay, it's kind of like a game for me because I'm very competitive. So I'm like, okay, let's see how long it's going to take me to get this person as a customer because I promise you they're going to be a customer. Okay. And maybe that's not totally your mindset, but my point is shift your mindset. It doesn't have to be so negative that you got that no. And I know we keep saying that, but that's so, so important. And that's why just that positive mindset in general is so, so important. So the other thing I wanted to say is that it is also okay. It's okay to not be 100% in this business every single day. Okay. I can't even tell you how many times, how many days I have had that I'm nowhere near close to 100% in this business, but just don't be zero ever. Don't ever be 0%. On my worst day, I'm at least getting posts up at bare minimum. And that was something I struggled with, to be honest with you, a little bit in the beginning, because anybody that knows me and knows my personality probably knows this, but I am very much an all or nothing type of person. That's actually kind of the excuse that I gave to Danielle before I joined this business. Was I literally think I said to her, I am an all or nothing person, and I don't think I have time to give this my all right now. And I knew that if I joined, that I would give it my all, and it would probably stress myself out a little bit, but that's just my personality. So, but my point is it's okay. Like I said, it's okay to not be 100% every day, but don't ever be 0%. Because your doors, I think Shannon and Matt were talking about this last week a little bit, if I remember correctly. I'm blurring some of the Power 30s together, but your doors always have to be open. If you're not posting, if you're not putting in your Instagram story, if you're not messaging a little bit, people don't know your doors are open. So even on my worst days, you guys, even when, to be honest with you, even when I was in the hospital having my kid, like I still at least threw up a post. And you know what? It doesn't have to be, don't think like, oh, I'm crazy and I sat there in my hospital bed for an hour planning posts. No, I knew I was going to be going into the hospital. And so I actually had them saved in my notes so that I could copy and paste. So that's the other thing, is it's so important to just be intentional too. And that's why the core 4 is so important. Like, honestly, before we started doing these power hours every day back in April, for a while, I can't really tell you that I was being that great about a power hour every day. I was doing my core 4 and I was doing a little bit extra, but that's why we started doing this, because I realized I wasn't being as intentional as I needed to be. So at bare minimum, do your core 4. Okay. Lesley, do you have anything else that you think we forgot or need to add before I have a couple of homework assignments for everybody like I do every week?
No, but I would just like to say, if anybody is looking for any recommendations in regards to like any self-development, depending on their needs, by all means, please let me know, because I have lots.
Yes.
I can recommend lots. And I've gone through the gamut. So if anyone's looking for a title, just let me know.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Yep. Shannon, do you have anything? I know this isn't yours, but I'm just curious if you have anything that you think is.
I love everything that you guys are talking about. And, that is so true. Go for no. I remember when I first started, I kept hearing, it's all in the numbers. The more people that you talk to, the more yeses you're going to get. So in every single person that you guys talk to, like, they're going to join you in a month or two, but it's your job to be consistent and show up every single day. So
yep. Awesome. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
I see Elizabeth, I think you sent it just to me, but she said, my favorite book is You're a Badass. Yep. I have read that one too. And that is awesome. If you guys have any books or podcasts you want to share real quick, make sure you click reply to everyone so everyone can see it, but please share them in the chats. I have a couple things I want you guys to do this week. We kind of give homework assignments every week. And really, you guys, we're not going to babysit you with this. It's your responsibility to send it to your upline or chat with your upline about whatever homework assignment we're giving you. One of them actually from Shannon and Matt last week was listening to The Strangest Thing. And Hundreds List, I think, was the other one, if I remember correctly. But what I want you guys to do this week in regards to personal development is I want you to challenge yourself to watch one YouTube video a day from someone in this business. I'm not talking about a power hour. I'm talking about, like, Jade Hooper is a really good one. She's got a ton of like mindset ones. So if you guys have any other people, Lesley or Shannon, if you have any good ones for them to check out, if you can put them in the chat. But I want you guys to literally go on YouTube and find them, or go on your team pages, because a lot of times there's good ones in your team pages too. When I first started, I was all over YouTube. And I was searching people. I don't even know who they are. For all I know, they haven't been in the business in 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, but I was watching their YouTube videos. And then I want you guys to give yourself a goal of how many messages daily you are going to send this week. And hopefully that will continue after this week, because, you want to develop a habit with it, but kind of with the idea of going for those no's. So like I said, kind of giving yourself a challenge. Let's see how long it takes you to get 10 no's. But I also, with that said, I want you to say, I am going to make sure I do 30 messages a day, or 50 messages a day, or 100 messages a day. Now, I will say really quick, just a piece of advice, don't do them all at once. You get blocked from Facebook or put in Facebook jail. If you have to set a reminder on your phone to send 10 messages an hour or something like that, do that. And also, it goes back to kind of what I was saying about not always being 100%. Like, a lot of times my personal goal for myself is to send at bare minimum 50 messages a day. But I try to get even closer to 100 if I can. It just depends on my day though, but 50 is normally my goal. But if I'm not at 100% and it's like 7 o'clock at night and I've had a rough day or the kids are, you know, crazy or whatever it is, I don't sit there and say, oh, I didn't do anything today, I'll just do it tomorrow. 10 messages is better than none. So at bare minimum, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do 10 messages before I go to bed. So set that goal for yourself. Let's see how long it takes you to go for no. And the very last thing that I added while Lesley was talking is I want you guys to all take the color test this week, the color personality test.
Mm-hmm.
If you've already done it, great. If you haven't, go take it. And next week when we get on, I'm going to ask you guys to all share your color personality in the chat. So that is all I have for you guys. Yeah. Do you have anything else, Lesley, or are we good?
No, the only thing, yes. You grow this business when you continue to grow, is what I would say. So I just think that's so very, very important.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording, but I'm not going to end this yet because I see some awesome suggestions here in the chat group that I want to make sure everybody gets jotted down. But let me stop the recording.